Now at 10, good news for teachers as their pay might be a big topic at Missouri's next legislative session. We'll have details. Plus, dogs are becoming sick with the flu. We'll hear from a local expert on how to protect our furry friends. And a Fort Scott preschool is finding itself a new home for next year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Raising pay for teachers is expected to be a big topic at Missouri's upcoming legislative session. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Reporter Marina Silva has more on what some in public education are setting as a priority.
When we look at teacher recruitment and retention, we're really talking about a supply and demand issue. The demand for teachers is higher than it's ever been because we are seeing more and more turnover in the profession.
One of those reasons, teacher pay.
The governor first talked about and then became official what we refer to now as the Teacher Baseline Salary Grant Program. And what that did was look at every teacher across the state of Missouri who was making less than $38,000 and provide a grant program to their school district that would allow that teacher for their salary to move up to $38,000 through a matching grant program.
Todd Fuller with the Missouri State Teachers Association says the state must.
We need to get to a point where we have a competitive salary, not just with district to district in the state of Missouri, but we need to have competitive salaries with other professions.
He says it should be something that is looked at often.
One of the first things that Desi talked about, one of the things that we're going to focus on is making sure that that minimum level of salary is something that happens consistently from year to year.
And the department did address that. According to Desi, the state law setting minimum teacher salaries has not been changed since 2005.
So the Blue Ribbon Commission's recommendation is to change that law, move the minimum starting teacher salary up to $38,000, and then have an annual review of that by the Joint Committee on Education so that lawmakers can ensure that that salary remains competitive across the nation.
Springfield Public Schools looks at salaries every year.
Annually, we enter into negotiations with our Teachers Association, and one of the items we always talk about is this thing that we call economics. So it's pay and benefits. So we talk about that annually, and it's very typical that that increases are made to the teacher salary schedule on an annual basis.
Springfield is Missouri's largest district. The Independence Missouri School Board approved a plan to move to a 4-day school week with a vote of 6-1. That's the largest district in Missouri to do so. The plan makes Monday the day off. They'll then tack 30 minutes onto each of the other 4 school days. Some parents say it'll create problems with childcare, but some teachers like the idea of a 4-day school week.
Because I feel like I'm going to be able to capture more time for me, for my family, and it just helps put things into perspective and just gets me into a better space to come back into the classroom.
I think they have no idea how many students will be engaging in those 5th day activities and how many students will not have transportation and will be sitting at home without resources.
In Missouri, 141 much smaller districts are already on a 4-day week. Fort Scott Preschool is changing locations. Fort Scott Preschool is moving to a wing of the bottom floor of Mercy Hospital in Fort Scott. The superintendent says the move comes as the current preschool location is split between 2 buildings.
And we needed more space. So we went out and looked at it, and I think it'll work out perfectly for what we want. It'll have a secure entrance on the front. It'll have a secure closure on the back end of the hallway, and we won't be interacting with any of the health people or anything else. So I think it's going to be really a great location for us.
Brown says the move is expected to take place in August. Humans aren't the only ones who need to watch out for the flu this season. Although this particular pooch is healthy, there's a rise in flu cases this winter among canines. The dog flu is contracted between dogs only. It cannot spread to humans. A veterinarian at Broadway Animal Hospital in Pittsburgh says they treated around 30 dogs within the past 2 weeks that tested positive for the flu.
And then there's several different medications we can do to get them feeling better and just making them more comfortable. Since it is usually a virus, there's nothing we can do to cure it, but there's lots of things that we can do to help them be more comfortable for the week or two that it takes them to kind of recover.
To learn more about canine flu, check out the link at KOAMnewsnow.com. A former youth minister in Joplin is going to prison in a child porn case. 25-year-old Nicholas Stevens today pled guilty to receiving and distributing child pornography. A judge sentences him to 6 years in federal prison without parole. Stevens was formerly the youth minister at St. Paul's United Methodist Church in Joplin. Some changes in the weather. Let's check in with Sam Lane.
That's right, Dow. We are in for some big changes in our forecast, but one of the changes that we've had recently is the drought situation is getting a little bit better, especially on the Missouri and Arkansas side. Still holding tough in southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma as far as the extreme drought and exceptional drought even further to the west. That's because the rain that we've had recently has helped out with that. No rain on radar right now, and that's going to be the case through the weekend, but that will change as we move into Monday. So overnight tonight, 30 degrees at midnight, 29, 25, and then 24 for our low. And if we take a look down the road or down the lane, a chilly weekend in store with perhaps some snow on Monday, followed by a bitter cold wave. And does that mean a white Christmas? Well, I'll tell you all about it in just a little bit.
We'll see you soon. City of Pittsburgh has a new mayor. Pittsburgh City Commissioners elected Dr. Ron Siegley as the mayor for the new year. Siegley was born and raised in Franklin, Kansas, and has lived in Pittsburgh for many years, worked as a family doctor in Pittsburgh since 1979. He also has 34 years combined active and reserve duty service with the U.S. Army Reserves. His term will expire in December of next year. More and more people are switching to electric vehicles, but one of the main problems facing EV owners is a lack of charging stations, especially in more rural areas like here in the 4 states. The Biden administration this year announced a $5 billion plan to create a nationwide network of EV charging stations over the next 5 years. We caught up with an EV driver in Galena, Kansas, making his way along Route 66, raising awareness about the growing need, and he says the vehicles are pretty fast.
Oh my God. So the performance of this is I could be sitting at a light, and when I punch it, it's 100% all torque. So I'm gone. I mean, they're before they can get up to speed with the regular gas car. This thing goes from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
There are different kinds of EV chargers, with the fastest level 3 chargers able to charge a battery fully in about half an hour. A local group today made a donation to the Lafayette House in Joplin. The group is Amateur Radio Emergency Services Operators in Jasper County. They make donations every year, and this year they decided to give to the Lafayette House, which helps people dealing with domestic violence.
Non-perishable goods, toys, and some clothing items, socks, gloves, blankets, things like that, so that, hopefully they'll be able to supply some needs for the unfortunate individuals that are staying here.
Lafayette House is at 1809 South Connor in Joplin. Watered Gardens in Joplin presented the funds gathered from the 10th annual Empty Bowls event. The Empty Bowls event is a chance for patrons to buy a handcrafted pottery bowl, enjoy a serving of soup, and take the bowl home as a reminder that someone, somewhere, is hungry. In all, Watered Gardens raised more than $7,000.
We're glad to be able to pass these funds along. We know they're going to go to feed people. Every bowl sold represents around 15 meals. So when you think about the numbers, we've been able to provide enough meals, around 19,000 meals from this event, which is very exciting for these organizations.
The funds were split among 4 area organizations, including Watered Gardens. It's never too late to make a kid's Christmas brighter. Carl Junction Schools helped KOAM's Toy Box campaign with a donation of 128 toys of their own. Today we picked up those toy donations, and this wasn't the school district's only charitable holiday project.
We put some incentives in there for them, so like we've done it in it's been an individual class versus class thing. This year we were going to do a movie if they reached 300 toys. We didn't reach that, so we're not doing the movie, but we try to put incentives, but the biggest incentive is just the fact that they can help some of the kids in our area.
And we're no longer taking toy box donations for this year, but we do want to thank every supporter who sent in a donation of any size. Your efforts do go a long way for an awful lot of families in need. Coming up, governors across multiple states banned the use of a popular social media on government devices. We're going to tell you which one. Plus, Dave Chappelle's attacker makes a plea in court. We'll have the latest. Amid national security concerns, bans on using TikTok on state government devices are going viral across the nation. Today, the governors of Georgia and New Hampshire said the social media platform cannot be used on devices controlled by their states. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
Georgia and New Hampshire are the latest states to ban TikTok from government devices, saying the Chinese government may be able to tap into users' personal information. The app, which is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, has more than 1 billion monthly users worldwide.
Your email address, there's your phone number, the Wi-Fi network you're connected with.
It's also manipulating what it is that you see. And the question is, for the national security professionals, do we want China determining what it is that we see here in America?
At least a dozen other governors have taken similar security steps with TikTok. On Capitol Hill, the Senate late Wednesday passed legislation aimed at banning TikTok from federal government devices.
If we could get some actual security guarantees, I think it'd be fine. But if they don't do that, this is really in Joe Biden's court.
I look at a lot of things that are happening that are national security threats, and TikTok could be one.
This week, Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio introduced a separate measure calling for TikTok to be outlawed from operating in the U.S. And earlier this month, FBI Director Chris Wray expressed concerns about the social media platform.
They also have the ability to collect data through it on users, which can be used for traditional espionage operations.
TikTok denies it shares data with the Chinese government, saying that the concerns driving these bans are largely fueled by misinformation about our company. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Other states that have issued bans in alphabetical order are Alabama, Idaho, Iowa, Maryland, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, and Utah. The U.S. Armed Forces has also prohibited TikTok on military devices. The man who attacked comedian Dave Chappelle has been ordered to spend nearly 9 months behind bars. Isaiah Lee pleaded no contest to battery in that case. Lee attacked Chappelle while the stand-up comedian was performing at the Netflix Is a Joke the festival back in May. Police said Lee had a replica handgun on him that day, which also included a knife blade. No motive for the attack has been released. Some encouraging news for home buyers. Mortgage interest rates have dropped for the 5th straight week. The average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is now 6.3. That's 6.31%. That's down 0.2% from a week ago. The Federal Reserve's unprecedented series of rate hikes have been targeted to tame soaring inflation. A little bit later, the Galena Bulldog boys basketball team squares off against the Girard Trojans.
And rain chances and snow chances are increasing. I'll have the details coming up right after this. Well, friends, it was a little bit on the chilly side today, but that's typical for December, and we're going to get a lot chillier as we go through the forecast. But let's enjoy tonight while we can down in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, Missouri. Pretty nice evening down there, as well as here in the Joplin metro area. We made it up to 41 degrees this afternoon after starting out at 28, which was slightly below the normals of 48 and 29. And a year ago on this date, we were setting a record high. Just kind of goes to show you how much a difference a year can make. And look all the way back in 1989, -8 around here. Hopefully we won't see anything like that, but it's going to get cold, that's for sure. Radar is clear right now. This is just some cloudiness showing up on the radar returns. No precipitation in our region right now, and it's going to stay that way through most of the weekend. Temperatures right now are generally right around freezing in the metro, a little bit warmer down in Veneta where they're 33 with westerly winds across the area. But when you factor in those winds, this is what it feels like. Feels like 18 up in Iola, 21 in Fort Scott, also in Lamar, 21, feels like 24 in Webb City, 28 down in Veneta. Currently in Joplin, we're sitting at 32 degrees, freezing out there, with a west wind of 10 makes it feel like 24. and the dew point is 19, so that gives us a humidity of 59%. A few clouds tonight, but those are going to skedaddle out of here. We'll see lows dropping down into the 20s tonight with those westerly winds. Then tomorrow, a little bit chillier than it was today, with highs in the mid-30s across our area, maybe a few clouds, especially up towards the north. And then as we go through Friday night into Saturday morning, we're going to see lows once again in the 20s across our region with northwesterly winds, dry conditions continuing. Then as we go into Saturday afternoon, a little bit milder. We'll go up into the upper 30s to lower 40s down in Oklahoma with northwesterly winds. But as we move into Sunday, we're still going to see temperatures in the 20s with a wind shift line coming up at us from the south and west ahead of that next storm system, which will start to impact us on Monday. So the big storm system has delivered the cold air and will continue to do so over the weekend. And as we go through time, the cold air will sink down into our area just in time to meet up with the storm system coming in from the west. And that means rain and snow will start to develop across our area, mainly snow north and rain, of course, to the south. And here's a look at the snowfall forecast. Now, keep in mind, this is not set in stone, but right now, around 1 to 2 inches here in the blue area, including Joplin, a little bit more up to the north and west, and lighter amounts down to the south, where it could be mixed with a little bit of sleet and rain, keeping accumulations a little bit less down there. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Chilly over the weekend, and then as we move into Monday, here comes the next storm system with some snow, so we'll call it an alert day, and then it turns colder, especially Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We're going to be dropping down into the single digits around here, and take a look at this, all the way to Christmas, lows in the single digits and highs only in the teens, and I think we may have to increase the chance of snow on that Thursday. So get ready for that.
If we're going to get snow, a lot of people would like to have it for Christmas.
Absolutely. So we'll give it a pass this time.
All right. Single-digit temperatures. That's a whole nother matter. We're going to discuss that. Thanks. And Danny joined us. Frontenac Wrestling travels to Webb City.
Yeah, this one was actually during the school day, so the students packed the dome, which was a really cool atmosphere. We'll have those highlights coming up. And the Galena boys host Girard in a CNC matchup. That and more next. Frontenac Wrestling is in action this afternoon. The Raiders are on the road facing the Webb City Cardinals today. Jumping right in at 126 pounds, Frontenac's Cash Wilderman gets it done in the first period. Win by pin, the Raiders' first of the day. Next match, Bergen Sounder picks up 3 points in the first period on the near fall. He finishes the job, gets the pin. That makes it 21-6 Raiders. Then Colt Taylor gets the Webb City student section on their feet. He delivers with the fall in the second period. Later at 190 pounds, Jacob Holt helps put this one away, scores in the second, then holds him down for the pin. Frontenac beats Webb City 39-27. The Galena Bulldogs are 3-0 to start the season. Tonight they're at home hosting a CNC matchup. Galena hits the floor against the Girard Trojans. All Bulldogs to start. Jack Perry on fire, hits the three from the far side. Then Ty Hall takes the pass, knocks it down. Galena up 12-1. They stay rolling. Great pass from Malachi Wesley. Perry with the finish. Third quarter though, Girard tightens things up. Tommy McDowell lays it in. That puts the Trojans within 10. Later on the other end, Tyler Little, aggressive inside, gets the bucket and foul. Galena wins its fourth straight, beating Girard 55-44. On the girls' side, Girard rolls by Galena 55-36. Big night for Emmeline Seneca. She finishes with a team-high 19 points. Riley Brooks also in double figures. She adds 15. The Missouri Southern men head into the winter break with some momentum. The Lions are 7-4 and on a 3-game winning streak. The team is dealing with a few key injuries, but guys have stepped up and made an impact. Avery Taggart, Vincent Sigmund, and Winston Dessau are all averaging over 10 points per game this season.
Vincent Sigmund has been tremendous. That's not easy, taking over the point guard spot a little bit into the season. And then Winston Dessau has been awesome these past 3 games, just with his attitude, his leadership, and his defensive prowess out there. And he's shooting the ball extremely well right now. We need that. And then Avery Taggart has been awesome too. All 3 of those guys can come off a ball screen and make the correct read, and so that's hard to guard.
Going into a break, it's nice to go into it, kind of hot. You don't want to have to think about losses over the extended vacation.
Absolutely, and hopefully they can keep it going after the holidays.
We'll see. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Mike Brantley served in the U.S. Army in 1991. The J. Oklahoma native was stationed in the Gulf, and we're proud to salute Sergeant Mike Brantley, a 4-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes. We have thousands of them in our database. You can look them up by name, by hometown, by military unit. And of course, we also invite you to nominate a hero of your own anytime, from any branch of the military, from any era. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Changes ahead.
Changes ahead, yes. We have a chilly weekend in store for the area, then some snow on Monday, and then the bottom falls out Wednesday night into Thursday. And another round of snow on Thursday. I think Santa's going to leave some coal in my stocking if this keeps up, with lows in the single digits and highs only in the teens.
People even for Santa. Final sports note.
Good win for the Galena boys. They get their 4th straight win tonight over Girard.
Congratulations to them. We're going to leave you with video of Christmas lights in Miami, Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us. Let's make it a great tomorrow.